What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, episode 2 of the Dark Side of Music. Today, we are going to be breaking down a very, very crazy case.
Yeah.
Danny, what did you know anything about this prior to this?
This is crazy. No, I knew nothing about this, and that's what made this so much more fascinating. Not that the first case that we dealt with wasn't fascinating, but like I knew nothing, and I fell down a rabbit hole and was just like, "Oh, I cannot wait to talk about this."
This one's crazy. It's weird. It's full of conspiracy.
And there's no resolve. There's no resolve.
I not only did I not know about this case, I have never heard of this band. I didn't know who Richey Edwards was.
Right.
This is a deep dive. So anyways, we're talking about the disappearance of Richey Edwards from the band Manic Street Preachers. I believe they were a band out of Britain. Danny, tell the people what happened with this one.
What happened was, I mean, they're a Welsh band, the Manic Street Preachers. Yes.
Yeah.
And their guitarist and lyricist basically vanished without a trace in early 1995, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, just to be I get it, you know, we're talking 1995. This is the dawnings of the internet, but like to have a mystery like this in like, you know, modern era where there is no answer, someone disappeared. Famous person disappeared. Like, we're not just talking about like people. I understand, and not to even make light of that. People disappear all the time, but a famous person disappearing, like the not maybe not the face of the band, but like an important member of this band disappeared, and they were a well-known band type of thing, and to not even neither one of us knew about this type of thing is crazy. So I mean, just kind of getting right into things, it's just like I mean, no body found, no note. I mean, no like evidence of like foul play, like nothing. And it just gets weirder the more you talk about it and the more you go through everything that happened, leading up to his disappearance and everything.
Right. Yeah, this one caught me by such surprise.
Yeah.
Did you dive into their music once you found out about the band?
I didn't take a deep dive. I'll say that. I went to Spotify and I listened to like the top songs. What about you?
Same thing. And I mean, they're a cool band. They're a very cool band. Not my cup of tea, per se. They're like old school punk,
right?
Like the Sex Pistols type,
right? Which
Anarchy in the USA, great song, but the rest of that album, not my cup of tea. So,
right. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, it's definitely along the lines of stuff that I've listened to in the past, like you mentioned Sex Pistols and maybe like Vandals that came after that and stuff like that. But, this was definitely never a band that I'd heard of and nothing I had ever heard from them. Just like nothing jogged any memories of something that I'd heard type of thing either. So.
Right. So, yeah, basically what happened was Richey Edwards disappeared. I don't know how else to say it. Like, no note, nothing. No suicide note. They did find his car filled with alcohol containers. He did struggle with alcoholism, severe depression, anorexia. He was also a very big political advocate. So that dives into like a whole other world of conspiracies.
Yeah. So
let's talk about before the disappearance.
Okay.
So let's dive into this. On February 1st, 1995, Manic Preachers were scheduled to fly to London to the United States for their upcoming album, The Holy Bible. They were supposed to be the next big thing in the US.
Yeah.
They never made it.
Yeah. Which is crazy because look, the band continued after this. So there were stuff after this and stuff like that. But yeah, they just never kind of revitalized to what they had since the disappearance of Richey, basically.
Absolutely. He was like the heart of the band. He was the soul of the band.
Right.
Richey never made it, obviously. The morning he checked out of the Embassy Hotel in London, before leaving, he withdrew £200, I believe.
Okay.
We'll say dollars, but I think
British pounds. Yeah, we can go with British pounds.
Withdrew that from the ATM every day for several days, totaling $2,800. He left behind his passport. He left behind his suitcase. And now we dive into his car that was found on February 14th. Richey's car was found near the Severn Bridge, a location tragically known for suicides. Inside the car were empty bottles of alcohol. No sign of Richey, no note, no evidence of any sort of struggle. The car had been ticketed multiple times, meaning that it had sat for 3 or more days.
Ooh.
We know that the car was at least vacant for 3 days leading up to the 14th. This discovery shaped the narrative almost immediately. So that is like the gist of what happened to him. The early days, though, like I said, he was a bit of like a political advocate. He had a very like politically driven songwriting style. A lot of his songs were definitely representations of the current things going on in Eastern Europe and going on just in the world at that time in the 90s. That was when it made it tricky for me, man. Like the government disappears people a lot. So,
and you know what better to do than leave any like evidence and stuff like that at a bridge that is notorious for where people do commit suicide, and pointing it to all of these things. Like, I mean, all that alcohol stuff in the car could have been planted there afterwards.
Right. Do you think that it was a suicide? What is your opinion?
Well, so I mean, the crazy thing about this is there is no answer. Like, it's not, it's not like, we had a body and we're trying to decide if it's possible that it could have been suicide or anything like that. Nobody's ever been found dead or alive. I mean, he was actually declared dead, years and years and years later, type of thing for like legal reasons and stuff like that. But I mean, this guy could be somewhere. Like we got there's other, I'm jumping way ahead, but there's been sightings, like nothing confirmed, but like sightings of him throughout the years. But it's so hard. It's so hard to say because I mean, it's, if somebody wanted to take someone out, this would be, everything is ideal for this point of suicide, which is almost like there's too many things pointing to suicide for it to be suicide. Like, but the one thing that, I do go with, like, maybe it's not, is because there was no body recovered. They searched the river, they dredged the river, they they did a thorough search. Like we said, this wasn't like, this was a known, musical celebrity type of thing. So like, I mean, there are probably people out, law enforcement out for days and weeks, like, combing everything. So like, if anything was going to be found, not even if a body was found, like clothing in the river, like, that could have been mashed up.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you would have seen some sort of a trace,
right?
Especially if it were like a jumping from the bridge situation. Like, you would have found something would have got caught on something at some point.
Yeah, and not like I'm not like familiar with this particular river, so like I don't, in my mind, I mean, I'm imagining a pretty big river, but like
same.
But like, even that is like, at certain points of that river is going to be smaller and bigger and smaller than bigger. Right. So like they say, it could be washed down at some point. It's going to be small enough that it's going to get hung up on something, or something's going to snag. So like, how far do you go in a search like that? It's almost like like I said, this led to so many different rabbit holes. Like how far down the river did they estimate that it could potentially, look for and stuff like that? Like, did they just happen to not look far enough? Or like, how do you judge that kind of thing? And like I said, so many different rabbit holes and more to come from that with like the sightings that, people were saying they saw him. They were saying, They were saying they saw him in crazy places like India and Indonesia and stuff like that too. So yeah, all over the place.
I think the thing is, if let's say that it was a suicide, right? It was deemed suicide, right. For all intents and purposes. But talk about the most poetic way, for a songwriter to do it. Like, if it were a suicide, I couldn't imagine a more poetic way for him to go, taking his car to a well-known location. Yeah. Clearly he struggled with alcohol. So, the build up to doing that act, leaving behind that kind of evidence though is kind of crazy. But again, he was a songwriter.
Right.
I don't know about you. I've never experienced those types of feelings before, but as a songwriter, I feel that in my soul, I would have left some sort of a note, some sort of get
I'm
those
right
words out.
Right. And there are plenty of people that, maybe the words wouldn't come, but yeah, exactly. Like his job, his passion, in life was, being a lyricist and writing, these words down and stuff like that. You're telling us that this is the point in his life where he couldn't figure out words to say, like even something simple, like he could probably have put something very, very simple, but made it, very well spoken or well thought of, like, type of thing with few words. It's very surprising that there was absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So
also his arrogance and just his personality in his daily life definitely leaned towards somebody that would have left behind some sort of recognition of blame or, some sort of a note about it. So I really don't think it was a suicide. Part of me just really hopes that he just left and started a new life, because I know he wanted to get out of, like, he was very vocal about not wanting to be involved in music anymore, which is a very interesting through line from the last case.
We're hitting a common thread here.
Yeah. He was very adamant about, like, getting out of, I think actually I could be wrong on this, but I think from one part that I researched that he did leave the band once and then begged to be brought back before going to London. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that happened, unless I'm confusing it with another case that I was watching recently. But the other thing that, speaking of sightings, the other thing that I thought was crazy is 2 days after they put the notice out that he was missing, a cab driver came forward and said, I picked him up from that hotel and drove him to this train station. So, but they could never, like, there was no proof. They could never confirm that was true.
Yeah, because we're not in the day and age where we are now, where there would be like cameras all over the train station where he dropped him off and stuff like that to actually get it, like the vehicle leaving, or stoplights having, little cameras and stuff, and you can almost like follow the car from one place to another.
Exactly.
So,
and he paid in cash, so you wouldn't have like a credit card to go off of either.
Yeah.
I am going to just fact check myself on him leaving the band real quick.
While you do that, I mean, the other thing that's really weird and kind of definitely makes you think that there is some plan to this, and it's not just like the plan isn't, resulting in suicide, is the withdrawals of cash.
Yeah.
Why would you? Number one, why are you doing that if you're going to commit suicide? What are you doing with the cash? Unless you can't take it with you. Like what
right?
What are you doing with it? Unless it was like the only thing I could think, like, I mean, paying the cab and paying the train absolutely makes sense with cash. But if it was premeditated for suicide, then maybe you're withdrawing some to pay somebody else to drive your car there, or you know what I mean? Like I mean that you could go either way with that, but like there is definitely some plan to something if you're withdrawing that amount of cash multiple times to get to a certain sum.
Yeah.
You're doing that for a reason, which is just adds even more to this. Like there's some kind of planning in this. We don't know if it was, planning to get everything in order for suicide or planning to just be able to disappear. And the weirdest thing is, and this is hard, we're going back. It doesn't even seem like it's that far back in time, but how much more did like 2,800 pounds mean in like the mid 90s than it would now? Because in my head, like $2,800, which I get, 2,800 pounds is a little bit more than that. So we're talking around $3,000 give or take. $3,000. I'm not disappearing for very long. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a lot of money. But like,
I just fact checked it. It's still not really a lot. I mean, it's enough.
Oh, okay.
So according to Google, based off of inflation compared to today, it would be approximately $5,955.
So like $6,000. We're talking $6,000.
It's enough to like get out of a city,
right?
For sure.
Which you also have to factor into that is, we're thinking, Uber right now. Uber around town instead of a cab, like kind of around the same fare. That's $20 to $40 depending on the time of day. But back then, it's probably 10. Like so everything costs less too because of inflation and because of what things were just the average back then. So like maybe $6,000 was enough to like get wherever he was planning on going, type of thing. And then he was like, well, this is all I needed to live comfortably for like a year. I'll figure it out after that type of thing. Like, for all we know.
No one researched his banking leading up to his death or to his disappearance. That's my question, is like he took up $2,800 a couple of days before. What was he doing throughout the rest of that year? What if this was
he could have grands and grands then, for all we know. He withdrawing like thousands of dollars the months leading up to this, for all we know. Yeah. There's some plan here. Yeah, there's no way.
I'm convinced that he started a new life. I really am.
Absolutely. You know what? It's even crazier. He could have planned it for a year or whatever. Could have been planning on meeting to somebody else and only needed that 2,800 pounds to get to wherever that was, and the other person had all of the rest of the cash.
Right.
His bank account could have been empty.
Also, if you were planning on like it's the crime, the case, we'll say case, is so like textbook who done it. Like, this is if I was going to write how to disappear myself, well, you know what I mean? It's so perfectly of like, this is a TV show.
Oh, absolutely. This is like another Knives Out.
Yeah,
it's another one of those where so many different distractions are happening to take away from what's actually happening.
Right.
So
I did clarify, so he didn't leave on his own will from the band. He was kicked out for his alcoholism.
Okay.
And literally came back the year that he disappeared. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He was gone for 6 months and came back. And according to this, it says that he was brought on due to them going to the U.S. So they needed him to play the shows.
Yeah.
So interesting that he didn't make it there.
Yeah.
Did they play that show? I wonder. What's up, everybody? It's your host, Harley. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. And I just wanted to take a moment and say, go head over to our website. We do have a merch section over there. Check out some of our merch. And also, you can become a member, get exclusive discounts on merch, as well as a whole list of great benefits. Head over. It's $10 a month. I know it's a lot to ask, but it really helps support the show. So thanks again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
I don't know if they played immediately. I know for a fact. I mean, we looked ahead and we know for a fact that they never replaced him. They went on as a piece moving forward, kind of in his memory type of thing. Which is, if you're going to continue as a band, I feel like that's kind of the right thing to do. Is if you not to replace the heart member. But if you really feel like, hey, we want to continue to do this, then if you can make it happen with 3-piece, I mean, I know it's hard to not be able to do it. Like if you were to like lose a drummer or something like that, I would say you kind of need a drummer. But like, yeah, I mean, if you can make it happen, I guess that makes sense to do it that way. But yeah, I mean, you can see that neither one of us, both of us are pretty well versed in music, in the music world, and neither one of us knew about this band. So kind of what could have been, never really amounted to the success that they could have done had this, U.S. trip made it, basically.
I know we're talking about this case, but you bring up an interesting question that I do want to ask. Speaking of going on as like a 3-piece band, Linkin Park, if they hadn't had correspondence with the new lead singer, would you have liked to have seen Linkin Park go on with just M. Shinoda?
But Chester's voice was the voice of the band. Like I feel like the only way they could have done that would have been if they had like guest vocalists maybe for like runs of tours and stuff like that. Like that would have been like, I think that would have been the best received thing that they could have possibly done. I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things where like you can't replace Chester's voice. Like Mike just wasn't the singer. Like you know what I mean? Like, and it's not like anyone can really sing like Chester either. Like you know what I mean? Like if it was like someone who sang, didn't have like such a remarkable like voice and that scream that he could do and stuff like that, it'd be different. But like the complexity of his actual vocal lines and stuff like that, no one can live up to that. So I don't think you could have like a band without a singer. But I think the only way, if I were in charge, and I know we're way on a side tangent now. If I were in charge, like in that band, and went, what do we do now? That would have been my only suggestion. Like, if we still want to do this as like a, in remembrance of Chester and to the fans, like the millions of people that love Linkin Park, I would say you go on tour runs and you just say like, we're going to have this guest vocalist for this stint of shows. We're going to have this guest vocalist, or even, multiple guest vocalists on the same show type of thing, switching off on songs and stuff. Because otherwise no one can live up to that type of thing.
Yeah. I do think that it was if you're going to replace him, the smartest move was to go for a female vocalist.
Yeah.
Simply because if they would have chosen any male vocalist, the fans would have been in an uproar far more than they were, because they kind of were.
Oh,
even when she came on.
Yeah.
But that was a smart move to just be like, hey, it's almost like completely different, Yeah. And she does a fine job. I definitely have heard her sing when they announced that she was going to be the singer and they did that live stream. She does a fine job. But I think you're right. I think a guest vocalist thing would have been far better, and I hope that Black Sabbath does that.
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, Black Sabbath is at the point where they can just be like, we're done.
Like, that is true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true.
When you're that, like, it's the same thing with like all of the really, really, iconic big bands out there, like Rolling Stones. Like, if something happens to any of those core members, they're done. Like, you just got to say, like, hey, we're all old enough. Like this, we need to stop. Same thing with like AC/DC. Or wasn't there a story a while back where they were like saying like stop playing shows? Like,
yes,
you guys need to stop now. Type of thing.
Yes,
and I get it. Like, look, I can feel it. Like, I've played shows sick. I've played shows stuff, and I needed other people to tell me like, hey man, we should cancel the show. Like, I'm like, no, I can be ready. I can be ready to do this. I don't want to say no. Like,
yeah.
Or we get asked about a show and I have like the flu or something. I can get ready in 5 days. Like, I know what that feeling is, and I can only imagine how much more amplified and amped up that feeling is when you that is your real career. Like, I would love for it to be my career one day. Maybe if enough people out there start listening to stuff. But
yeah, go check out Just Happy to Be Here.
Awesome. Yeah. Anyway, placement. Anyway, but yeah, I can totally understand how much more of that drive and that push is to want to continue it, because this is your life's work. This is what you want to keep going with, and you don't want to ever say no, whether it is like old age, or whether it is a member leaves or a member passes away, unfortunately, unexpectedly, and stuff like that. I mean, there's multiple things to that. A core member can leave, like a critical member can leave a band for just
Steve Perry.
Yeah, exactly, for just like any kind of decisions, and they're never coming back type of thing. And you really have to figure out what's best, I guess, in that situation and in that in that particular band and stuff like that. And obviously, I think no matter what, it's never going to be the perfect answer for absolutely everyone. Which is hard. Like, but if you really need to continue, you just kind of have to weigh out the options, I guess. And every situation is going to be different.
Yeah. Yeah. So the disappearance.
Yes.
Let's get into these sightings. You were right. People saw him in Europe. People saw him in India.
South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah.
These are crazy, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how many times he was spotted. Do you think that part of it is like when there's like an Amber Alert and 9,000 people call and they're like, I'm behind the car right now. And you're like, sir, you're in a different state.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm sure it's probably some of that, but also like, and I hate to say this because there may actually be some, like Manic Street Preacher fans out there, like right now, like that could potentially be listening to this and stuff like that. So I don't want to downplay the significance of this band at all. But like I said already, you and I are pretty well versed in the music world and in bands, maybe not so far back into like the mid 90s punk scene or anything like that. But like, how many people were really sitting around going, hey, that looks like the singer from, or the guitarist from the Manic City Preachers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I you kind of have to weigh those kind of options. Like when they do an Amber Alert with like cars, there's going to be a million cars with the same make and color. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so much easier to like, just go, oh yeah, there's a silver minivan. I'm behind a silver minivan, like type of thing. But like, this is an actual, like, this is a person that was in a band, and it's, I get he could probably have doppelgangers. Everybody does. I've had that, which is really weird. Like, I'm like, blue hair. They're like, oh, it was definitely like a darker blue, but it was blue. He had colored hair. I'm like, really? There's somebody out there that is my height, has crazy blue hair like me with tattoos, and they're like, yeah, swear you could be his brother. I'm like,
yo, that's that Us movie right there.
Yeah, man. I know, right? Which is crazy. But hey, I'll trade off with somebody else. They can do my day job, and I'll hang out, and then we'll vice versa. Like, we'll each get a week off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wonder, you can go either way with sightings, because you can never get anything like confirmed, obviously, like we've been saying with other things, like with the cab driver in like the initial area. Now, I do lend more credence to the cab driver sighting that when it happened type of thing, that he drove him to the train station, because, you know, that was like right during the event in the same city type of thing. So like you narrow it down and you make it more likely of a sighting and of a positive sighting type of thing. But yeah, I mean, I think the rest of them, you can use that circumstantial evidence for either side of like, oh, he probably was just a guy that kind of looked like him, blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, it's absolutely him, because like, why would anybody lie about, you know, seeing this one guy from this band, you know, that never ended up actually blowing up in the way they were hoping to type of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel really bad to say that, because I am in a band that's trying so hard to get to actively get bigger and bigger. So, I mean, no, well,
and we're also American though, like,
right?
Because if you think about it, like now we could find out about all kinds of Welsh bands, but in the 90s, finding out about a band from anywhere in Europe, like that wasn't something that was just readily available.
Well, that's the thing. They always say that, and they've said that. I mean, they've said that. I believe they said that since like the 80s, maybe even as far back as the 70s, where you don't really blow up unless you blew up in America, because like you can get like even American bands can go over to like Europe or Japan and stuff like. Still now, I'm not even talking about like that back then type of thing. They can go out of the US and get very big everywhere else type of thing. So we might not know this. There might be people listening going, you guys are idiots. These guys were huge. You know what I mean? Like we just don't know, because we're in the bubble of like, you know, when out of, you know, country bands come here and we find out about them, they're already big everywhere else. Type of thing. This is kind of what really like cements it. Like type of thing. Like if like a band from Europe or from like Asia or you know, Australia or anywhere, South Africa, anything like that, Africa, anywhere, comes to America and blows up, they're worldwide famous. Type of thing. And that's not to say that, you know, they weren't everywhere else famous. It's just, I feel like there's like that, this is like the bubble. Once you make it here, it kind of, you know, just it cements everything in place.
I will also say, Richey, if you're listening,
I mean, want to do an interview?
Yeah, or just like in the comments, just let us know, man.
Yeah,
you can be discreet about it, but be like, hey, everything's fine.
Look, there's a lot of crazy things that happened in this day and age because of the internet and advancements and stuff. How crazy would that be? We solve a 30-year-old, 31-year-old missing case because he just left a comment.
Yeah, you know, put a selfie in there of you hanging out on a beach, man.
I want to know what the plan was the whole time and where was your favorite place to hang out? Because I mean, he disappeared to go somewhere. Like, I mean, if this is the you know, what really happened is what we're hoping for. Like, he didn't commit suicide and he actually, you know, lived his life out the way you wanted to live his life out. I want to know what was his favorite place to live and what was his, like, what did he do to stay under the radar for so long type of thing.
I mean, Ted Bundy changed his name like 7 times. So it can't be very hard, especially in the 90s.
The other thing I don't know, and it's really because I've never really, you know, I've traveled on this continent, but I've never traveled like when I say internationally, I've never traveled off of our continent. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
So I don't know how hard it is to travel freely around Europe without your passport. Like, I know you would need it if you were in America to get anywhere else, but like if you're in, say, London, how hard is it if you don't have if you're not American, if you're like Welsh? We'll talk about Richey. How hard of it would it have been for Richey to travel from like London to India or like, you know what I mean? Like, Especially that, and then side note to that is how hard would it have been? How much easier would it have been in the 90s? Because everything was, a little bit
also true.
Less strict. I feel like in the 90s as far as that kind of stuff.
Just barely. He just made it. By like 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he probably. Number one, I think that he did this for a girl. I do. Okay. I'm convinced that
it's always got to come back to a girl.
I really am. I'm convinced that it was for a girl. I think that he was in a relationship that he wanted to get out of, and he was having an affair, and I think he ran off with a mistress.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Now, I didn't look deep into like his personal life, but do we have on record like he's in a relationship / married or anything?
I know he had someone. I do remember seeing that, but I don't remember how serious it was.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. Was Richey Edwards married? No, he was not married. He left behind no spouse, no children, no estate, no parents.
Wow.
He did have an on and off girlfriend named Joe.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize he was declared dead in 2008.
Yeah.
You weren't kidding.
Only because of legal reasons. Wow. Like it had nothing to do with like them finding any new evidence or anything like that. It was legitimately for like legal reasons. My guess, I mean, I didn't really dig into what those legal reasons were, but my only guess is like maybe the Manic Street Preachers,
copyright or
something.
Yeah.
Because like if you think about it, 95 to 2008, I mean maybe something was coming up from copyright and they had to like they were getting their because the whole thing with masters is like when you record them for a label, you get them back after 10 years or in some cases you get them back after 20 years. But like they're in increments of time that you then get, your masters back and so masters of your recordings. Sorry. I'm not explaining everything. Right. You get your own recordings back in your possession from the label that you recorded it with and stuff like that. If you didn't record it independently, which I'm assuming they didn't if they were, already an established bigger band at this point. So
yeah, where's Joe on all of this? That's my question. Is I would assume she was questioned. She would have had to have been questioned.
If they could find her.
Right.
What if she was the person that disappeared that he was getting to?
That'd be crazy.
I wonder if there's been any Joe sightings over the years.
Yeah. Right. This one's so strange. And then like we thought, or like we talked about, the band does move forward as a 3-piece. They continued for 13 years with no concrete evidence.
Wait, that's why for legal reasons. That's 13 years after 1995.
Yeah.
So they probably disbanded the band and they had to give, they had to get the copyrights to everyone and stuff like that. So they probably stopped the band, and that's the legal reasons.
Wow. Oh, wow. Yep. Richey remains a full member of Manic Cat. Shout out Manic Cat. Manic Street Preachers to this day. Royalties intact, legacy preserved.
Right.
Huh.
Which is very strange because he has no estate for it to go to. He didn't have any parents. He didn't have any relatives.
Yeah.
He didn't have anyone on file, like as a spouse or anything like that.
Right.
So none of those royalties. I mean, I guess it's just on the books, as a remembrance and everything. And I completely not criticizing that at all. Like I don't know. I don't know what I would do if anything ever happened to any of my band members. I mean, they're some of my really good friends and stuff like that. So like, I probably would do the same thing. Like if in that kind of circumstance, but it's funny you said it's 13 years and 13 years would be 2008, and that is when he was actually declared dead.
Yeah. Yep.
And it said for legal reasons, like, so that means like it wasn't like, oh, we got some new evidence type of thing. So
right.
It had to have just been to like recirculate the copyrights, like type of thing, and actually legally put it in there type of thing.
Yeah. If he did like leave and start a new life, I don't think $5,000 is enough for me. Like but
that's the thing. Yeah. What you were saying though, no one, I can't believe, and maybe it's just because like it's just not, out there, but like I can't believe nobody looked back to see if there were more withdrawals, like,
right,
during that 6-month period or
yeah.
But I mean, the other thing is we're talking about this as, we're thinking, oh, this guy's a rock star. He's probably got $100,000 in the bank and he only took out 5 of it or whatever. Right. He only took out really only $3,000 during that period of time. But like, maybe he really didn't have that much. Maybe he had
maybe
he also, in the bank.
Yeah, he also had a bit of a habit too.
Right.
So maybe he didn't have much money left.
Right.
I don't know, man. If you were to leave life, if you were to fake your death, where would you go?
Well, it's got to be somewhere nice. Like,
yeah.
And I'm not talking about nice as in like it's got to be really built up and a really awesome place, but like nice as in weather-wise nice. So like right. I'm talking like a beach. So maybe like an island, maybe like New Zealand, Hawaii.
Great options.
Australia. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking of something that like no one's looking for me, but like I get to live by the beach. I can hopefully get some sort of very minimal place to live and, some kind of small job where no one's paying attention to who I am, but I can live my days out. To me, paradise to me would be a beach, like, and a place where, the weather's awesome year round.
I feel exactly the same. I would go to like the Bahamas or,
that'd be nice.
Somewhere really warm, really tropical.
Right.
And if I'm in his shoes, I'm going where I've never been heard of before.
Right. Exactly.
Like
which might lay more evidence and more citing to the sightings, because those sightings seem like pretty random places to be going.
Could you imagine being the one guy in India that recognizes you're just walking down the street and you're like, nah, can't be.
He's sitting there. He's got the merch. He's got the Manic Street Preachers shirt and like a hat or something. Or patches like on a vest or something.
Yeah.
It was punk music, so it was probably he was probably wearing like a studded
like a jacket.
Vest. Yeah. He's got a patch on that says Manic Street Preachers on it.
Yeah. Of all the places, man. Oh wow, that's the dream. That would be enough for me to come back. Honestly.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what? I think I'm gonna give it one more shot.
No matter what, I'm taking pictures with that person. Like if I see somebody with my merch, I do that now. Like I'm like, I will geek out, even if it's at a show that I just sold them merch. If they put it on, I'm geeking out. I'm like, oh, you're wearing my shirt, and I'm taking a picture with it. If I saw that out in the wild and I've been gone for a while, like say I saw that on say I'm visiting the UK and I see somebody wearing "Just Happy to Be Here" shirt, it might not even be my own merch. It might just happen to be "Just Happy to Be Here" on a shirt. I'm still going, you know my band? I'm taking a picture with that person.
Oh man. Oh, that's so funny. So let's talk about his legacy for a moment. Whether Richey Edwards took I can't see took his own life or walked away to try and escape the world. His disappearance does remain a completely haunting mystery.
Right.
A completely unsolved case within the music industry. Yeah.
And I mean, like we keep saying, we're not trying to offend anyone if the Manic Street Preachers are like a bigger band, out there, or even in the world like of punk. Maybe we're missing it because we're missing two different parts of it. But like, to not know him at all is really interesting, and it just adds to the mystery of this entire story. Like, I feel like to have, no answer whatsoever is crazy.
Right. So I did just get on Spotify because I was like, it says how many people listen on Spotify. Let's just take a gander,
Yeah.
821,000 people listen to the Manic Street Preachers. So
we may have to do a part 2 and get somebody on here who's a Manic Street Preachers fan.
Yeah. I guess they're far larger than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Just one of those ones that just flew under the radar.
Which is, look, and I keep saying this, and I guarantee we'll say it, more often, because all of this has to do with like the music world and stuff like that. For neither one of us, for this to hit, for either one of us is very strange. And like, neither one of us are music snobs. I feel like both of us have listened to a very eclectic amount of music in our lifetime. So yeah, it's very strange. Like, and I wonder, if it really is one of those, really crazy pivotal moments. Like, had Richey made it to the US with the band on that faithful trip, would we be saying this completely different? Like, going, yeah, we've heard of them, but like, nothing really happened because, the he disappeared type of thing. Or would it have still been the exact same? It's just there's so many interesting parts about this story. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the craziest thing about all of this is, you look at it and it's a disappearance, which is a mystery in and of itself. But like, the fact that we don't know the band and the fact that like what could have been is also like rabbit holes you could fall down and you could like listen to and just be very interested about. Like, it's just, it's a lot. This makes for a perfect story to be able to talk about, because there is no right or wrong answer in this circumstance. And I'm sure, you could talk to somebody that has a completely opposite opinion, like saying like, oh, I listen to, Richey's lyrics, a lot. And I side with the fact that, this was somebody who, was on the verge of committing suicide. And, he just, I believe he did it, like type of thing. And then, you could also have a completely, talk and use both sides, use basically the exact same evidence to support either side of that disappearance or suicide type of thing, which is just makes it even more crazy. Like,
it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Also, comment below your favorite Manic Street Preachers song.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, give us some suggestions. Not? Like we might as well. Like,
the beauty of music.
Yeah, give us some suggestions by people who have been listening to them. Because I mean, let's not take Spotify's word for it. Maybe there's some songs that'll connect with both of us.
Right.
If somebody else will suggest some songs.
Right. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That is the case. That is as deep as you can get on it. Really, there's no answer. We don't know what comes next.
Yeah. If you know about Joe or any Joe sightings or something like that, comment below too. We'll fall down that rabbit hole. We'll do a follow-up case on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, let us
I'll do an hour just on Joe.
Yeah. Let's it's like when you get those episodes of like those episodes of TV shows where it follows the other side of the character, but they see the same events of things happening.
Yeah.
Oh, what if we got a whole different story side for like Joe's side of everything?
On a side note, I just finished with my wife the Ed Gein story.
I have not
Netflix.
Yeah. Okay.
It's incredible, man.
Really?
I mean, well, incredible in like the worst way. Like, I didn't realize who he was and how terrible he was either.
Right.
But man, is it a great series. It is riveting. It's thrilling. Every episode is a new adventure that I kept Googling stuff. I was like, this can't be real. And you're like, no, that's how it went. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah. I recommend it.
I will take you up on that. Yeah.
I was never like a true crime guy until we started this. And then I saw that and I was like, what's that about? Let's check it out. Yeah. I will say though, when you watch it, the guy that plays Ed Gein does this very specific voice. And if you wanted to have some fun, like it's a really fun impression to do. It drives my wife insane. I just walk around talking like Ed Gein all the time now. Yeah, so you'll enjoy it. It's interesting.
I'll definitely check it out. I'll get back. I'll report back after I get the chance to watch it all.
Heck yeah. Well, I can't think of a better way to end this. This has been the second episode, everybody, of The Dark Side of Music.
Yeah.
Danny, tell the people about yourself.
I mean, if you want to find me, you can find me and my band on all the social media outlets at Just Happy to Be Here. And check out any of our music on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, anywhere you consume music from, you can find my band. I appreciate it.
And then after you finish up listening to their music, go check out our interview over at the Hook and Bridge podcast. I am Harley, the host of the Hook and Bridge podcast. We did an interview. It's been over a year, almost 2 years now.
Yeah. Wow. Well, no, not almost 2 years because we did it. Didn't we do it right before the Christmas one?
Yes. Yeah. So it was last year.
Yeah.
Right before 2 weeks ago. So, that was such a fun interview, man. And you guys have such incredible music. Truly, like, I kid you not, Autumn's Over is constantly in my playlist. Like,
I appreciate
all the time, dude. Every time somebody's, because I all the time people will be like, hey, do you have any bands you can recommend? This is kind of what I like. If it's anywhere remotely close, I'm like, you got to listen to these guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're writing some new stuff right now. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about some of the new stuff we got.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, it's been real, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.